Bitfarms is doing some very interesting things this morning with a pretty big drop off in the pre-market, but I think the news overall is good. We're also going to go over the second quarter results for Bitfarms. So let's do that real quick. We'll talk about what just happened, and we'll talk about that drop and where they are currently. So their Q2 report, I know it's a bit late, but I'm getting to it. It came out on August 8th. It's the 21st right now. I was on vacation during it, so let's just move on. And before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us for a while and haven't done so yet. Don't forget to check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Let's talk about Bitfarms. So they took in a revenue of $42 million in Q2. That's a 17% year-over-year increase, but a 16% quarter-over-quarter decrease, which isn't so bad considering that the rewards dropped by 50% since last quarter, and they're only 16% down in terms of their revenue, so that's pretty fantastic. Their gross margin for mining is 51% compared to 64% in Q1 2024 and 48% in Q2 2023. So they're up a little bit from 2023, down from Q1 2024. That's to be expected. Okay, they're still at 11.1 exahash, but that's growing quickly, and we'll talk about that in a minute. They are on track to get their 21 exahash, and again, something we're going to talk about later will feed into that. Overall, this is going to talk about how they've got several sites coming online. They're adding 220 megawatts in Paraguay. They've got another 120 megawatts of power coming online in Pennsylvania that they're working on getting that agreement going, but that's going to be HPC dedicated. In South America, they energized 70 megawatts in Paso Pe. They're also got signed an agreement to add an additional 100 megawatts as well. And that's pretty fantastic. There's lots to go into their growth plan there, and I do think that they are likely to reach their goals here. They seem to be pretty good. All right, so they're mining on average about 6.7 Bitcoin per day in Q2 2024, so that's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, because they're smaller, they're getting bigger. I mean, they're bigger than what Mara was last cycle, so I mean, they're doing great. All right. Their data center expansion, we're not too concerned about those two things. Financial highlights, let's see, gross mining profit. Okay, so gross mining margin of 21 million and 51% respectively, down from 31 million and 64% in Q1 2024. So that's to be expected. That's all to be expected. Their administrative expenses were about $12 million, which is down 6% quarter over quarter. So they're decreasing what they're paying the top brass. That's always nice to see. At least in short term. Long term, I'd like to see them gain value, but as Bitcoin is falling, we don't want to see them paying themselves lavish packages while the stock is falling. That's not a good look, and they're not doing that, so that's pretty great. They ended up with a loss of about 7 cents per share, so they missed on that. That's not a big deal. I'm not too concerned about it. EBITDA of 12 million or 28% of revenue, down from 23 or 46% of revenue in Q1. That dropped about as much as you would expect, given that their rewards cut in half. They're basically their product, cut in half. They earned 614 Bitcoin in Q2 at an average cost of 30,000. But their total cost of production per Bitcoin was 47,300 in Q2 2024. So if price dips below $47,300 for Bitfarms, they're in a bad spot. So that's something to keep an eye on. If we get a big dip and it stays under $47,000 for any amount of time, Bitfarms is going to be in a bad place, especially with what they just did. So now this is where things get important as far as I'm concerned right now. So let's see here, right? Liquidity, right? As of June 30th, 2024, the company had a total liquidity of $195 million, comprised of $139 million in cash and $905 in Bitcoin, valued at $57 million. Okay, so they've got $139 million of cash. Keep that in mind, and that goes into our next thing. So that is the Q2 report. It's not bad, honestly. It's not bad. Could have been a little bit better, but all the reports kind of weren't great. I do like all the expansion they got coming up. That's going to happen. I mean, once those things start happening, we're going to see an appreciation in the price of this thing pretty quick. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing. This morning, they bought Stronghold. Remember how we were talking about Stronghold put themselves up for sale? Well, Bitfarms bought Stronghold. And this is providing them, as they say here, a clear path to 950 megawatts of power capacity. That's pretty great. This is immediately adding 4 exahash to Bitfarms hash rate, so they're immediately jumping from 11 to 15, with a potential of adding up to 10 exahash with a fleet refresh. So that is huge. That is massive. The stock is down like 8% this morning. That is unacceptable considering this. Now, there is a reason it's down, and I'll talk about why it's down. Vertical integrations of power. Okay. What did they pay? So here's what's going on. This is the big deal. Let me find it. Where is it at? Okay, so they bought it for $125 million. Now, if we go back here to this page, they only had $139 million. So they are down to cash. If they used their cash position is now down to less than $20 million. Okay, so that's one of the reasons we saw that big drop. People are concerned that they're no longer cashed up. That's a bit rough, and I can get that. That makes sense. I understand. The other thing is that they are giving 2.5 or so shares of Bitfarms for every share that there is 2.52 shares of Bitfarms for every share of Stronghold, because Stronghold was trading at about $6.02, and they paid the company worth, to be about the value of $6.02 per share, which was a 71% premium on the Stronghold 90-day volume weighted average price, which was a significantly better deal than Riot offered Bitfarms, which is why Riot doesn't own Bitfarms. Doesn't matter. So there is some share dilution. So they're out of cash. They're basically out of cash, and there's going to be a pretty significant share dilution coming through on this. So $125 million worth of share dilution coming through on Bitfarms. Now, their overall market cap can handle that, because their market cap is something like $1 billion. So, I mean, that's like a 10% dilution. Not a huge deal. Not a big deal. All right. So we're looking at about a 10% dilution. Okay. Yeah. See, Stronghold. Oh, I didn't even see this part. Okay. Stronghold shareholders are expected to own just under 10% of the company. So it's really not that big of a dilution, which is why we're seeing that 8% drop on Bitfarms today. Let's get to the chart. So in the pre-market, we're seeing it, and it's bouncing. It's already bouncing. Market just opened. It is already bouncing. So basically, what we're saying here is, okay, this was the peak of it. In the pre-market, it was down about 10% overall. Okay, that's what we are expecting from the dilution. Okay, that is perfectly in line. This is a buying opportunity on Bitfarms, being 10% down, seeing a clear road to 21 exahash this year, 35 in the future, in the near future, not that far off. This is huge for Bitfarms. I cannot express how important it is that Bitfarms not only didn't get bought by Riot, but they are now the one buying other companies, and they did so in a way that it may have exhausted some of their cash. They diluted us only by like 8% in doing so, but it's going to provide potentially up to double their current hash rate. So they could potentially, with this one acquisition, double their current production at 10% of the cost of their company. Who the heck thinks that that's a bad deal in any universe? Think about it for just like 1 second on that, okay? And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Simply my thoughts on Bitfarms. So I did sell some of my Bitfarms to get into some more micro strategy at around 248, 250, like 250, 260. I was selling it around there, closer to $3, right? It's trading down at 224 now. I think I'm going to buy some more Bitfarms today. That's what I'm saying right now. I'm going to buy some more Bitfarms today. And that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.